Welcome to Emuna is Our Future, with truth and not controversy. Welcome, everybody. We're happy to say that we're going with truth. We're not going with controversy today. It's an exciting opportunity for everybody to tune in on our live broadcast from our beautiful studio in Yerushalayim, a holy city. Yes, Jerusalem. And we are here with the permission of Rav Shalom Arush. We're just making sure everything is up to working. Sometimes the Wi-Fi, is a little bit labedic, but that's part of going ahead. Thank God we have the Garden of Israel podcast going strong. And Baruch Hashem, we have a lot of opportunity together to keep growing in Emuna classes. Yesterday, last night we had Rav Shalom Arush. It was beautiful. It was the first time we had Sunday night. Our first Emuna class with Rav Shalom Arush in the studio on a Sunday, and it was awesome. And I have to say, thank God, it wasn't like a massive impact of people yet, but keeping everything in an optimistic flow. The feeling is that we're going to be able to get there, and we're all going to have the opportunity, everybody, to tune in together to the Emuna class growth in the studio as we had Instagram for the first time live on the screen. And you guys could tune in, ask QA. It was not just on my phone or something with the Wi-Fi and whatever. It was a proper plugged in with the whole fancy, Merechis, the whole studio style with a nice background. And we had Leon Mazur and Soulful Money also there. Now, the only issue is we're having right now a little bit of Wi-Fi fun over here with the Pelophone. So we're just going to have a look again. For some reason, this is the second week in a row that the YouTube and Brez of English is not where it should be. So we're just going to keep trying. As they say, never give up. We're very persistent over here. And we're also going to go into this concept of truth. And the reason why we're going in this week to such a idea is because, thank God, we have the Parsha. And in the Parsha, we see an opportunity to enter into the realm of Yaakov Avinu. You have to excuse me while I just double check. Let's see what's going down. Last week was fine. Start again, the Wi-Fi. Brilliant. Yaakov Avinu didn't have these problems. But Yaakov went out from all these problems. He went out to go, thank God, to look for his soulmate and to achieve his purpose in the world. And that's something which is very powerful and profound. You have to excuse me, I'm a little bit tired because it's my first time doing our weekly class here in the Brez of Israel studio after a Sunday. It's the first time I ever had this happen with me. So I'm a little bit exhausted from the work because there's a lot of after editing and processing all the different information we had. Thank God, a lot of good feedback, a lot of good energy last night. And we really went through the avoda of talking to Hashem, like we mentioned last week with Yaakov Avinu. Yaakov Avinu, thank God, was able to do this kind of holy of work. And that's the kind of work we need to do. So I'm just going to reset everything over here because it definitely needs not working for some reason. And there's an idea of being able to rerun, to refresh when things don't go your way, to start again. And this is something we've talked about. Hanukkah every night, we get another candle, most of a holech, we're adding a bit more light. And the good news is, not only did we have the Soulful Money course from Rav Shalom Arush with Laron Mazur presenting this, and we had already now 2 parts. We had the merit to also do last night the Chazaq Chanukah Tour. We're doing a Chanukah and Emuna Online Tour, and it's going to be beginning the first night of Chanukah every night. Please God, we're going to have a class from Rav Shalom Arush, and translated obviously by our beloved Rav Dayan Elgod. He's going to be translating the Rav in English every night. And then we're going to go from there, please God, to a sikum, like a summary of our Emuna classes. And Chazaq themselves are going to do a presentation every night. They're going to co-host our show. They're going to be the ones to actually set it up on a nightly basis. I hope it comes together nicely, because so far our side, we managed to get some beautiful footage with Rav Arush, with the Brez of Israel staff, and all our beautiful insights so far from Hanukkah. It was really, really special. And I really appreciated the fact that not only were we able to do this in advance, because personally to be able to spend Hanukkah with the family is a real goal. That's something we're going to talk about, that with Yaakov Avinu's light, there's a certain focus on family first. That is the kind of mindset we want. That's the kind of hope that we have. And please God, you guys, you're all hanging in there on the YouTube. For some reason, it's not come on yet. But we'll get there. We'll get there. We're not giving up. Always being optimistic. It's definitely my style. So we're going into Yaakov Avinu's light, this truth. I was with the blessing of being with Nissim Black this Shabbos on a Shabbaton. It was wonderful. I was very inspired by it. And I was able to discuss the idea of being truthful. Honestly, let me be honest right now, since we're talking about being truthful, my head is pounding. It's not because of Corona, Baruch Hashem. It's from lack of sleep and being busy, thank God. It's for good reasons. And also now with this little block with the YouTube, because I do want to get you guys there as well, I'm a little bit concerned that this is now a continuous issue. And I really hope that we're going to get this fixed long term. So one thing would be if I could go through the general system. That's up to you guys to request that. Would you like me to be, just like we have these beautiful Emuna classes, to have a staff, someone wants to sponsor it, that kind of thing? Oh, we're live. See, just got to try. And we have the blessing to be able to do that kind of work in the studio. It'd be amazing. And that's, once again, the partnership, you guys. You have to reach out. You have the information below. Oh, it was live, but it went. Oh, wow. But we have this opportunity online to be able to step up all our facilities, like we just said on Instagram. It's now going live. We've had other opportunities in other ways. And once again, anytime something doesn't work, thank God, we have other ways of posting it. Like the Instagram live, it went live in the studio, but then we had to repost it because it wouldn't save it. So that's something new that we're going to have to work out how to do, like everything. And that's part of the learning process that we're having over here, that we're going to have to grow together. And thank God we do have, like if anyone is on YouTube and listening, able to tune in, you can go to a Better Life feed on Facebook, and that's the Breast of Israel. And once again, we're going to have the podcast. But the amazing thing is to be able to not give up. That's my mindset. That Yaakov Avinu just kept going. He went to look for his wife, and he went and worked for Lavan in order to be able to get his wife, his soulmate. And he worked, and he worked, and he worked. And I'm feeling a little bit like that right now. And having that Sargid Bonim, you're trying to bring up your children and bring them up in the right way. And you feel a little bit like, wow, this is a bit intense. Head's hurting, you're schwitzing. You have to sort of get into the idea that he was also had icicles coming off his hair, his pale or whatever, his beard. And it was hard. Yaakov Avinu had a lot of hardship to be able to build this beautiful family that would build the building block for the world of a role model of what family life is about, and what be able to have that unity experience and family and that oneness. But the end, what happened, we know, as the Torah goes on, we'll read about it, please God, and we'll get into it. But the sons, it wasn't so easy to keep them all together. And this is part of the challenge that we all have as people in this world, that we want to grow in our learning, we want to grow in our spirituality. And usually one of the things we could find is that we're not able to get on with the people around us. And that's interesting because, thank God we're surrounded by beautiful people in our life. And that's a gift. But it's also a challenge because every minute is not so simple. Like when you have all kinds of blocks and things that don't work out, you're going to have to work out how to do that in a real way. And that's part of the challenge. So I know myself, that I would love to be able to do more. I'm going to try something over here. This is a new idea. Let's try this. Ooh, yes, we're going to switch it to maybe work through this. Let's see if it works, comes together. Doesn't seem like the Wi-Fi is good. This is the problem. Okay, we've had this before in the studio, and we managed to do a full class. And that's part of the ability, like we said already, going ahead. Now, I don't mind you guys sitting here with me, watching this going up and down and watching me fiddling around. But that's part of the challenge that we're all going to have in this Corona challenge-filled time, because we have so much to offer, so much light. But we need that partnership, because in the end, me sitting by myself, I do have a camera guy, but he just turns it on. To have someone who can actually take responsibility to get the Wi-Fi to our good level and everything to work the best, this is the kind of way we'd like to do these online classes, that it should be impactful fully. And like, if for all of us, not just the the highlight class of Rav Orish, we'd like to have all our classes set up with a live feed and have everything moving in the right way. But for that, we'd have to have a team. So something long term we're going to have to look into over here in the studio. And it's something, once again, like, you guys have to make it happen. Like, I'm sitting I'm going to come and give my class, but I need you guys to invest in this. So that's my plea, that I'm not alone, that I'm with you guys. And I want you guys to partner to make this a better experience for all of you, not just for me. Yeah. So I don't have to worry about the technical stuff. I can have a staff setting it up. And, that's one of the midas I spoke about on a podcast recently called Think Torah. I spoke about the idea that even if you're by yourself and you have all kinds of obstacles when you're trying to do good content and put out important information and unity projects, the key is not to give up. The key is to go ahead. That's part of like what every single person can do in their own life. They all have what to offer. Every person has what to give over. And that's the beauty of being part of this culture of internet development. And, I pray that it would all work. I really do. And I pray that every week everything will come together on the highest level. And I pray, please God, that Hashem should give us the ability to love other people and to fix up any of these things that are going on in our life, not in the best way, to be able to have the strength to go ahead and to be able to partner together. Because in the end, look, we can't do this by ourselves. That's what's come out. Like, how can we go ahead in the world the way it is, with the Corona challenge and the billion and trillion of dollars that have been lost through lack of business and all the things? Like, we're trying to make a Chanukah tour and we still haven't got it booked yet for Nissim Black. We're going to put up a flyer soon. But for example, like our Brez of Israel Chanukah tour is going to be online. It's going to be through the studio. But to be able to do it in person, to have that personal experience, it's a whole different level. And that's what we hope Nissim Black will make it to the US. Thank God we had a Shabbaton, like I said. And we spoke about this concept of truth. So Yaakov Avinu, this truth, this ability, this emes. Emes is aleph. It's a big aleph. It has feet, and it's able to stand the aleph with the feet at the bottom, 2 feet, and the emes, the mem, the big feet, and the taf. These feet hold up the letters of emes, and the truth has standing in this world. It never falls away. Not like sheker, which is standing on 1 foot. Each letter is 1 foot. It has a kiyum. It has ability to stand strong. And that's the ability with truth. That's the koyach, the power, the energy that we're trying to bring into this studio and into this class, to stand strong with truth and to be able to stand up for the truth. So, for example, if you want to be controversial, for example, you want to get a lot of likes and YouTube hits and all this stuff, and get, all the different, media outlets interested in your story, you do some powerful, controversial act. But the problem is, if it's not truthful, and even if it's truthful, but it's controversial, is that going to really achieve your ultimate truth? Because remember, we spoke about many times in our Emuna classes that we're not just working with Emuna here. We're not just going to talk about talking to Hashem and our relationship like we did last night, but we're also going to try to live a truthful life that is universal and unifies and is inclusive. But the balancing is going to be when sometimes there's going to come up stuff that's forbidden. For example, to say forbidden words about people, to disparage people. Even you could say, look, it's true. It's true. That's always the famous statement of Lashon Hara. Well, it's true. But truth is, say it's true is not enough. You have to actually live that truth, and you have to know how to use it with in the right way, in the right time, and when to open your mouth, when to say things about people, when to make projects, when to do things. For example, good to hear from you too, from down under. When to be able to join and make partnerships, when to collaborate in our studio with all the different guests, what kind of guests, and people are going to ask, why can't you this, why can't you that? In the end, what's going to guide these classes is going to be the truth. It's going to be the Torah. It's going to be the value system that's based in Shulchan Aruch, based on the halakhic, guidance from Hashem himself, from the Creator. He put into this world guidance through the rabbis and through the different traditions, that there's a guidance how to do this, so that we're not just going to do whatever we feel like, and that emotions are definitely not going to run this. We're going to do what's truthful and honest to us. And that's a big, big part of our journey in this world. And I just want to thank Hashem one, not only that I have the merit to sit next to Rav Orish many times, many weeks, and you guys get to join us, and you can share that class, our class that we had last night. But next week, you're going to join us with Toronto. Toronto community is a beautiful community. We've gone there every year the last 2 years, had the most kind, loving, amazing experience. And it's such a shame that this year, 2020, we weren't able to go to Toronto. It's something which I really feel a lack, that I wasn't able to go in person and visit the Toronto community with Rav Shalom Morish and our translators there. We have usually Rav Gilson, and we had someone else, Rav Cohen as well last year. This year, we're sitting in our studio. We're going to do an event Sunday, 9 o'clock. Please go to class for Toronto community. You guys can also tune in online. And please go, we're going to have meetings before and after. And again, the following day, we're going to have meetings. And we're going to have the power to really join together with Emuna and inspire the Toronto community and thank the Toronto community for hosting us all these years, to give back to them for an online experience, and they can talk to the Rav, have personal meetings with him, and hopefully they're signing up. And that's something really very important that's coming up this Monday, and it's part of our mission for truth, that we're heading towards truth. We're not getting stuck in this world in a way that holds us back and gets us involved with controversy. We're not trying to put anyone down, trying to make any arguments. We're not saying we're better or this or that. Just keeping on that path of truth and shalom. Now, how do we see this come out? We mentioned already Yaakov Avinu. Yaakov Avinu, our forefather, he was the representation of truth. He was representation of Torah. He was Ish Tav, Tam, Yoshev Oholem. He was a very tamimistic person, a simple, but in a truthful way, not simple in a simple way, but in a truthful way, in a way the ultimate complications that exist in the world are the most simple solutions, the most simple truths. There's really these universal truths that really guide mankind and these values. This is the kind of way we need to go. So that was Yaakov Avinu's light to the world, and that was his message, and not only to his family that he built, like we mentioned already, but also the idea of how he dealt with the people around him, like Lavan and Esav, and all the different challenges he had in his life. And he's a role model for us, how to deal with the world, how to do business, how to build a family. And that's what we can learn in these past years right now with Yaakov Avinu's light. He also was worried about the Pach Shemen, that little flask of oil, and that comes out as a little hint in this week's Parsha when he poured the oil on the rocks surrounding his head. And then the following week's Parsha, where he went back to go get the Pach of Shemen, the little flask of Shemen, that was a remez, a hint to the flask that the Kohanim used. And in the Hanukkah story, when we had the Chosem Esel Kohen Gadol, the flask with the sill of the Kohen Gadol that was used for the Hanukkah miracle, that miracle that happened all the way in Hanukkah was already hinted to all the way by Yaakov, and that was the idea of everything, everything Yaakov Avinu, Avram, Yitzchak, Yaakov, Rochel, Asar, Rivka, Rochel, Leah, everything they were doing was influencing our generation, especially when we're reading in the Torah. The Torah's coming alive, and thank God finally we have the YouTube feed back on. Baruch Hashem. Welcome. Sorry, people, if any missed anything, go to the podcast or go to the Facebook. We'll get the full class there. We'll put the full class below. We'll post it again on another YouTube link somewhere. But the main thing, we'll have the edited final version from our Breast of Israel channel. This idea of going ahead no matter what, keeping the truth going. Thank God finally it's working. Never too late. But the idea is that the concepts of Emuna and the concepts of truth are really one thing with Yaakov Avinu. So now we have Yaakov. Yaakov is the light that we're in. This whole month is busy with the light of Yaakov Avinu, Yud Ekev, bringing down that wisdom all the way to the lowest places. Then we come to Hanukkah. Hanukkah, they say, a few different tzaddikim, Yosef, Yud Sof, the idea of Yosef, a tzaddik's light, Moshe, a hoylech, constantly adding light. But there was another tzaddik that also was representative in Hanukkah. And his name is Aaron Hakohen, that I'm a descendant from. And we know that the whole miracle of Hanukkah came through the Kohanim, from the descendants of Aaron Hakohen. And that's the energy that we have ability to tune into, that Oyev Shalom, Rodif Shalom, that Aaron Hakohen's light was able to light up the world for all the generations. And that was his big rotzon, his big goal and love. Oh, someone's reaching out from Picksville, MD in the USA. Yay! Thank God somehow we're getting some live feed over here. But like I said, the idea that Yaakov and Aaron come together on Hanukkah, there's a meeting on the spiritual level, because Aaron Hakohen was offered, he was given that opportunity to be the Kohen Gadol, and he was given an opportunity to bring a gift to Hashem. Now all the Nissim, all the leaders of the tribes, the descendants from Yaakov, has 12 tribes, they were all offering a different gift up to when we had the Mishkan in Chodesh Nisan, and each one brought a different gift, Matnas Nasiim. Yeah, and we read it in the Kriya of Hanukkah. We read on the Torah, we read about the gifts of the Nasiim, of the princes. Each one brought a different gift. And it's very important, part of our tradition, that when you build a Mishkan or a home, that there's some sort of celebration, and you bring the thanks, like we always learn from our Voish, the idea of thanking Hashem, and that's a big part of Hanukkah. The Halal V'Hoda, Hanukkah is a bias. We're thanking Hashem for the new house, the new home, and that was what Yaakov called the Beis HaMikdash. He called it a bias. So Aaron Hakohen, he didn't get a portion in that gift. His descendants weren't part of the Matnas Nasiim. They weren't able to bring those gifts. So what was his will? What did he want? What he wanted was the menorah, Baloscha Neiris. He wanted to light the menorah, the Hanukkah, the Chanukiah, this beautiful gift of the Chanukiah. And that's the idea of everything we're doing over here, to light that menorah, to light up the world, to turn the darkness into light, to transform the pain. Right now I've got such a headache. Transform it into awe, into inspiration. And that was Aaron Hakohen's wonderful light. So what we have to understand is his Ritzonos, his will, like Rav Orish spoke about last night, the power of will. This will, this Rotzen, not only did it light up his time, that he was able to now light the menorah, he was on an inner level inspiring all the generations after the Hanukkah miracle that his descendants should be a light, a beacon of light to every single Jewish home and every single place you find Jews. Hanukkah time, in the middle of the darkest time of year, of winter, comes the Jews and we light up. It's such a symbolic thing. We light up. But remember, we once said that it's also connected to Shalom, to peace. Because as truthful as you want to be like Yaakov Avinu, that fire of emes, that kotzka eish, has to be together with the ishbishta love, with the love of Izbich, the love of Torah, the Avos Yisrael, Avos Hashem, Avos Torah. This idea, it has to come together with the Shalom. And that was the idea that Aaron Hakohen wrote himself. It's a Gemara, it's a famous Gemara, and when he gave over this mitzvah of the Chanukiah through his descendants, and the whole mitzvah of lighting up the world that we're going to be doing soon, please God, with all our classes and with our lighting and with our celebration and hallow and praising Hashem, thanking Hashem, and the law of thanking Hashem, as important it is that Mrs. Black reminded me this Shabbos when we were hanging out with Nissim, the importance of thanking Hashem. It's a law, just like we have the law of gravity, we have the law of thanking Hashem. It's a law from Avorish, from all the tzaddikim that we have to be able to thank. Yes, please, for anyone who's on the live feed, move over to Facebook, like we said, doing it now. It's lovely. I'm going to speak to the studio guy after this to get this fixed for next week, please God. But this idea of Moshe V'Holech, not giving up. Next week I've got a busy week. I've got Toronto 2 days and I'm making a wedding. Wow. A wedding, and the week after Bar Mitzvah, and it's Hanukkah. So I'm going to be a little bit overwhelmed and busy, but that's all good. That's, once again, we have the podcast, we have other ways we can communicate. You guys can always send me emails and reach out if you have any questions, and hopefully I'll have the time to respond and to connect into everybody. But the beautiful thing, like we said with Aaron Hakohen, was a shalom, is that when it comes to whether you have Shabbos candles or Hanukkah candles, what's more preferable? Says the Gemara, Shalom Bayis Adif. It's more important, the Shalom Bayis of Shabbos candles, because Shabbos candles light up the home to have Shalom Bayit. They bring more light brings more Shalom, more peace, and that's the ability to light up this world with peace and truth. That is these two balances, and not to be controversial, not to do stuff, not to take sides when it comes to politics, not to choose the right or the left. Tell you what, I'm central. Well, you can't really be central all the time, but you can be truthful in a way that doesn't create division. That's the concept, that you be unifying. Because remember, we spoke about we have united souls. We have souls, a soul level. That was Aaron Hakohen. He was bringing out the soul level in the world. The light of Hanukkah, the light that's in the Chanukiah, brings out a soul level. And that's within everybody. We all have this soul level. So all of us, please God, I'm just going to end off this class because my head is about to explode. Baruch Hashem. I'm going to take a paracetamol, relax a little bit. But the idea to keep things balanced is that we should understand that when we are doing anything in life, choose the path, choose it. You have choice. Choose to be truthful, but remember, not controversy. We're not trying to be popular from controversy, even if it brings us success, seemingly, like lots of views and lots of likes. But that's not what life's about. Life's about being true to yourself and being true to your mission. And that was a message that we learned from Yaakov Avinu, and together with Aaron Hakohen's Shalom, he was a path of Shalom. He wasn't giving in to his Yetzer Hara, his evil inclination, and even if it meant doing something which, like we learn about with Egel Azav, he was a path of Shalom, that was something which was a mistake. But then what happened? We have opportunity to do tshuva on that. And he was able to turn Chag LaMacho, that the Chag, the future Chag, the festival that they were trying to create in the wrong way, would be a festival of the future. And some say it's the days of Mashiach, some say it's Chanukah. But the point is, Aaron Hakohen gave us a gift of the menorah for every single home to be lit up like the Kohen Gadol, to have that spirituality, that essential soulness. And I spoke about this on that Think Torah podcast where I go into my life. I've posted it on my Unity Flow podcast. And once again, I remind you guys, I have Relationship Flow podcast. Right now I've been talking about intimacy. We had a little break until we get more interest and make it more happening there. And please go, we have this podcast here. It's growing. We've had Gedalia Fenster. We're putting up the Emuna Classes. And please God, we're going to have an increase of interest and feedback from you guys, how to make this better and better and better, and to be able to partner that with Hanukkah, there'll be a renewal of healing and light and love and truth and all the good things we want, all the blessings that this whole difficult year we went through, that should be finished with, and we should start fresh. We have a new chasima from Hanukkah, Zos Hanukkah. It's a new beginning, a new start, the climax of Hanukkah, to light up the world around us with inspiration and positivity, to transform everything that's been difficult into good. And to everyone should be blessed with these good things, to keep being truthful to yourself and not to be controversial, not to make division, but to combine the truth with the peace, and to have shalom and to have love and all the good things that we're looking for. And please God, we'll see that by standing up for truth in ourselves, that it will not contradict the idea of peace and positivity in the world. Amen. Thank you for listening, and I can't wait to see you all. Everyone should have a beautiful preparation of Hanukkah and a beautiful Shabbos, Parshas Vayetze, and everything good. Everyone should feel healthy, and I apologize for any of the technical issues. Apologize, I'm not feeling 100%, but Baruch Hashem, we're going to get healthy and strong, and we'll see you next week and with Toronto, and we'll see you again with our Emuna class here. Please God, have strength to do that, and we'll please God have the Hanukkah experience. Everyone can pray for me, Eliezer ben Chana Liba, pray for me, and then like someone just wrote, when we stick with Emuna, everything works. Yes, and thank God we have other ways to post this class for those on YouTube who got the up and down version, so you'll go and see the full version there. And remember that Yaakov and Aaron and Yosef and all these Tzaddikim are behind us, all these righteous women, righteous people are behind us, encouraging us, giving us the strength to do our mission in the world and to be able to have a beautiful Hanukkah with Emuna and Mashiach, Sekenu, B'mhei V'meinu, Amen.